Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Can't hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay. How are you? And I am so sorry.
Okay, no big deal. It's all right.
I literally I text you back. Yes, no, we're on, and then went right back to sleep. And I will tell
Okay.
you, big day yesterday in a good way.
Fine.
Volunteering to set up for a music festival. I always say I'm going to do this kind of thing, but actually got up at 9 and like was moving things. There's a music and art festival and moving things around. Then I went and volunteered to help clean up a park, and then I went and gave out diapers and school book bags and all.
Oh,
Went back to the music festival, which was great and lots of fun, but I had earned, because I had been there, because I had helped set up, I had earned like the VIP, like you get to go to
oh,
shows, but I was way too tired for all of that, so I did not end up going to that. And and again, I am so sorry. I'm still.
no, no big deal. It was fine. It was fine. I figured that was the case, and I had trouble because I think that I was told that I should change from Google to DuckDuck.
Yeah,
And I think I've done it in such a half-assed way that I'm I think it kind of screwed up when I tried to get on. But I'll have to go ahead. No, I think I mean I don't know. I mean Duck apparently doesn't follow you or um but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know who I'm with at the moment. I think I'm still on Google, but
was this in your? I no, I have lots of curiosities. I want Let's talk about this. Was this in your personal life or in your professional or?
no, no, it was just personal. It was just personal.
And under whose guy? I mean, just Victoria
I
or?
think Victoria said, I mean, she's very sensitive to much more so than I am. I figure everybody knows everything anyway. But at the same time, I got extremely agitated because for the umpteenth time, Amex successfully caught somebody from using my card. Okay, but then uh, went ahead and changed the number and issued a new card. In other words, uh, without me asking them to do that, they did it, right? And as I tried to express to this guy as pleasantly as I could, I said, you have been instructed to tell me that this will not affect any of the. And I said, but in fact, I tell you now, it will cause me enormous headaches because first of all, I will have to manually put in the new number for many things. It is not automatic. And in fact, there will be some things where it will be denied. I won't even know that at the time. And it will cause me even more issues, right? And he was, I'm sure he was in India, but the point is, I said, I'm not blaming you. You're told to say this, but I'd like you to know that in fact it is not the case. You know that, right? Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, no, I want to go back to the Google DuckDuckGo thing, but the whole security measures that are for your protection, and I fully understand, and I am appreciative that we have these things. But when there's overreach, and for me, I used to have an account, and this bank has now been absorbed by another bank, and actually, I was skeptical when that takeover happened, but this problem hasn't occurred since then. So I guess yeah, they used to they used to deny my card for if for certain things, if for instance I did several transactions in a row, or if it was a certain dollar amount that they felt was outside of a norm. But what they were supposed to do was contact me. They can send me a quick text. Was this yes or no? But so for some reason that they could never explain, that step would be skipped. They would just deny it, and sometimes I wouldn't even know. I would, like you said, I would just happen while I'm in a store, and that's very embarrassing when you're standing there with your card and it's being denied. But sometimes it would happen, like you said, for a subscription or for something that, in fact, was regular, but that
Yes.
deny, and they could never, they couldn't solve this problem. They couldn't. I even had someone claim that they put a manual note on my account to stop this from happening. Like, I put a note on your account, and it didn't. And again, for me, it's a both and of, I understand that these measures exist for my protection, and in fact, it has on occasions, like you said, actually stopped, people from, and I appreciate that. But when it's the overreach, and then the whole having to when you have a new number and a new account and having to enter in all that, I mean, over and again, and realizing how many places you have automatic setups.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what Google trades on. I mean, that's what Google, they want the convenience of, you can use Google sign in, or it's going to be 3 extra steps if we're going to have to send you an email and a this, and that's fine to me. That's why I do avoid using Google sign in for almost everything. Yes, send me the text, send me the email, I'll give you the confirmation code number. I will take the extra steps as much as possible to avoid Google. That being said, this was a few years ago, but I didn't know this because I've been using DuckDuckGo for a while. They actually got in trouble because they were sharing something with Microsoft. Because they
was sharing. They were?
But they have to run on something, their technology as to which was Microsoft. And then it turned out they were, but maybe they didn't even know it at the time, because it's some, back end level where at the end of the day, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, who is running the cloud, they end up having, or if it gets breached by hackers, I don't know. So again, DuckDuckGo I still use. I still think it's better than others, but there's no 100% secure, I guess, is where I was going.
I'm assuming that. Well, you mentioned Amazon, and I just wanted to say that I didn't realize this. Maybe everybody else knows it, but I was reading about, the labor issues, and apparently, I don't know whether it's just in this area or New York, that the quote last mile of a delivery, it's not Amazon. It is they are contractors. They are wearing Amazon uniforms, and they may be in Amazon trucks, but they are not employees. Therefore, they're not protected. Therefore, so I mean, this is like slave labor. I mean, in a sense.
Yes, but what they're doing, and in fact, literally, it's sometimes they're contracting Lyft and Uber, is exactly what Lyft and Uber does. It says they're not employees. I mean, this is the gig economy, so it's not exclusive to Amazon. But yeah, that last mile, for me, and so I live in a house, so I see who actually shows up. And yes, it can be and like you said, an Amazon branded truck. It can be someone wearing the vest and all that, or it can just be, and oftentimes it's a couple. And I don't like, this is the part that I'm trying to,
Really? Oh,
do what is at least promoted as one job, but for them to do it, to me, and this is what I see, and first of all, it's often on a Sunday when I didn't order anything on a Sunday, nor did I order anything from Amazon, but this is a completely separate thing. I order something from Macy's and it comes from Amazon Basics anyway. Like if you're, this is the whole, even if you're trying to avoid X, Y, or Z company, they're driving in a regular car, oftentimes not a big one or not even one that like it's. I'm talking about like a compact car, but you can see it is visibly loaded with packages. They're dressed in regular street clothes. One of them is very haggardly running up to your door, throwing the package, but I'm not. This isn't a criticism of them for the context of this. And like snapping a picture of it, which they obviously have to upload to somewhere. You can see like hurriedly doing something else on an app, probably getting the next package delivered. I mean, it's a two-person system. Like I've seen,
but only one person is being paid.
This is my understanding, yes, but only one person is being paid. I don't understand a lot about how the gig economy works. I don't understand how when I call for I don't use Uber. I'm sorry, Lyft. Not that it's better or different. For whatever reason, I use Lyft, not Uber. But when I call for a Lyft, I choose the wait and save feature. Nonetheless, the car always comes within literally 3 minutes. It's always a neighbor. I try and ascertain without getting them to tell me where they. Someone in my neighborhood, but they make themselves available. I mean, and oftentimes, again, I'm the most common time I'm using a Lyft is to come back from a venue so that I can get home safely. So it's late at night, and they just show up in 1 to 3 minutes, like literally 1 minute. Like, how prepared were you already? I guess they were already in their car. I don't know, but I don't understand how the gig economy works. But these people work very, very hard, and they have none of the protections of.
That's what it seems to me, which is that
we all trade because I am very much against exploitation, but I still have a Lyft account. We all trade that for a little bit of convenience, or for, and I mean, in that case, for me, Lyft is my last resort when it's, the last train has left. I don't really use it as much as possible, but I do. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's impossible to live modern life. It feels without exploiting people. It's impossible to wear clothes without. Still, 2 decades after those, Nike child exploitation came out, like we're still not sure, but our clothes are probably all made by children in Bangladesh. Like it's impossible without exploitation. Palm oil is in everything, and I mean, there's an environmental factor. Now, of course, the right wing has latched onto it, but they've anyway. Well, I don't know,
but not using, for instance, protesting by not using Amazon or not using Uber doesn't help. It doesn't do it. I mean, if Uber was on strike and you refused to use it, in other words, if you did something in solidarity with the employees, then you're supporting the possibility for change. But simply saying, I don't know.
I use my platform if and wherever I can to explain why, including at work when ultimately, like I said, for a variety of reasons last week when we were talking about this, the decision comes down to the best use of our dollars as a nonprofit is to go with Amazon, regardless of the other factors. But we do always consider, I do remind people, we have a mission that, is let's see how at the end of the day. Yeah, no, I use my platform. They're not my dollars, but no, one person not shopping at them, it doesn't make a difference. 10 people not shopping at them. And certain sustained efforts, and for something like Target, it took multiple communities, first the gay community and then the black community, and then, and once it hit black churches for completely different reasons, again, than the gay community.
Yeah.
it started to affect Target's bottom line. So they can, but I think, again, as always, I promote boycotts versus boycotts. Like, rather than a temporary, I'm not going to shop at this, I just encouraging overall shift in how you spend your dollars to supporting as much as possible local, independent. And if you're doing that, then then don't worry about what the big, use them when you have to. We all do. But shift as much as you can to local and independent. I mean, the same, and I mean, it's going to be good for your wallet. It's going to be good for the environment. It's going to be good for your community, because we know, 82 cents on a dollar goes back to the community from a local merchant, but only 19 cents does when you spend on a big business. And it's going to be good for your health. I mean, when you're shopping in a local farmer's market, you're not going to have to worry that your food is part of the no longer being inspected food supply that that is making people sick in whatever 48 states now.
Yeah, I'm very much for farmers market and not unprocessed foods. I'm very skeptical about clothing. I mean, I'm very skeptical about claims made by marketing claims that are based on I don't know, giving socks to everybody, or
Those have been I mean, there are whole, I'll send you links, because there are whole like documentaries around, like the Tom's shoes was the buy one give one was their original, and very generous, a whole pair of shoes. But you find out, there are communities where these shoes get dumped on people. They don't want the shoes. They don't fit their needs of this community. They don't, they don't wear the shoes. They just, the shoes.
Oh yeah. When Victoria went to Ghana, she found out, as everybody does, Goodwill sends tons of unwanted clothing to Ghana, and a lot of it is thrown in the sea. I mean, it's literally thrown in the sea. So, I don't know what you do about that, but yeah, I don't know. It's very difficult for a wet consumer in the West, I think, to not be an unwitting participant in child labor. But the companies, the American or European companies that order and purchase, they know.
Oh, but this is okay. And we didn't do this on purpose, but we can tie this back into the gig and the Uber. They all rely. So Nike doesn't have factories anymore. It's all third-party contractors. And so when in Vietnam or whatever, they come in and they do find the same child labor that they've had for, since they were, those exposés, probably, I said 20 years, but it's actually probably the 80s. So I forget that's actually 40 years ago or more. But now they just say, oh, well, it's a contractor. It's not, and they don't. And it never sticks to Nike. It never sticks to Gap. It never sticks to...
No.
They blame the third party contractor. They stop using them. That person starts a new business under a new LLC in that country or a different country. I mean, the same thing with all of Trump's tariffs. A lot of these, it didn't. So whatever, he puts a whatever tariff on Vietnam because that's where clothing were. So Nike just shifts, or Gap or whatever just shifts to Indonesia. I mean, they use these independent contractors. I mean, and the same thing with the gig economy. They play them off of each other. Fine, you don't want to take this short, long trip.
Yeah.
we're going to give it to someone else, but now we're going to exclude you from the app. I mean, that's another piece of the gig economy, is they play the individual contractors against each other. And it gives them unlimited flexibility, while the worker absorbs all the risk of the market tighten, loose it, contract.
Yeah, the small factory owner, yeah.
Safety, all that falls now on an independent who is told, make these as cheaply as possible. We don't really ask you how. But then when the inspectors come in, that's your business. And so, it's, and they can wash their hands of it. And those of us in the West, for the most part, don't hear of it at all. You don't hear Nike's name in the headlines attached to child labor like you did 20 years ago. It never went away.
So talking of Nike and changing the subject to a slightly lighter theme, the New York Times is telling its readers, i.e. me, that the fashion which has been adopted by my generation and younger, I don't know about yours, of wearing, I won't say sneakers, but more casual shoes to the office, right, is now completely outdated. It's a sign of boomer senility and a lack of fashion sense that people who know, or men who know, are now wearing loafers. So my boss has been wearing, I was alarmed when I first saw it about 10 years ago, some soft shoes that have white soles on them, which I actually thought were rather, okay. Yeah. Well, no, they weren't orthopedic, but I have soft shoes that I wear to work, which are not, I say they were sneaker-esque, but in my profession, with a lot of walking that goes on in art fairs, we allow ourselves a wide the liberty to wear what we want on our feet. But I'm talking about maybe, like a law firm or something, where now if you do wear those shoes, you're an old boomer.
And I will extend that to almost all of athleisure. I think the young people in the workplace they're dressing very well. They're dressing. It is. I would say even business casual is out. It is business. They're here for business. And I work predominantly with women, and I'm curious what a workplace that is more male driven, if their people are wearing suits and ties, which I don't see out and about in greater Seattle. I wear ties a lot, but that's unique to me, and it is just it's more of a quirk than
I rarely wear a tie
anymore. But you used to
anymore. In fact, I now only have for some reason I've managed to jettison a lot of tie. I must have had a tie throwout at some point.
Your work wear would be the last. You wore fedoras to work. You wore trench coats.
No.
I
never wore a fedora.
You wore a hat and a trench coat. You did. You own them. You had a tan. I stole them to wear to school to be like, culture club cool.
I had a fedora.
hats. You had brimmed hats that you wore to work. You don't even remember. That's wild. I'm not making. I don't say you didn't necessarily wear them every day, but you had them, and I don't make.
Okay, yeah.
You wore them now.
I never liked those. I bought a hat when I was 17 to look grown up, and it looked silly, and I only wore it once. Okay, so
that's the weird part. Okay, but you own them because, like I said, I stole them.
maybe no, that's possible. A trench coat, it's a raincoat. I mean,
Yeah.
raincoat, that's fine. But
No, and I would say no. Any of the kind of like casual Friday wearing, they don't wear short sleeves. They don't wear. I mean, they dress. And this is, and actually this ties in not just to this, what you hear in influencer culture for young people around jobs and things, and there are a lot of HR people on social media telling young people how to get ahead, is dress for the job you want, not the job you have. I mean, that's that, and I see that in that they are doing that.
good for the fashion industry, I suppose.
Yeah. Right, and once it turns into judging other people, once it turns into you're a boomer, yeah, no, I'm slightly alarmed with my Crocs. But
I think I mean, obviously, I think that there's an anti-boomer crusade going on at the New York Times, because they also had an article that the net result is I'm afraid to use any kind of emoji because it's going to be misinterpreted, or I don't know what they mean. So I'd like someone to publish privately a constant. Well, it should be a service that you subscribe to for boomers that is updated on a daily or at least weekly basis, telling us what emojis mean. Or yeah.
Go through this with and the people on the team that I supervise are younger than me for the most part, and I go through this. So now this is true. No. First of all, I told them if I ever send you any emoji that's become inappropriate, like I don't know what the emojis mean. So yeah, no. Let's talk about.
You have a blanket. You've issued a blanket denial.
So that's one. And two, we have regular dialogues because I keep learning these things. So for instance, it's not just a smiley face, but if you don't use a big enough smiley face, then people interpret that, younger people will interpret that as not smiling enough. Like, oh, you weren't happy enough about the thing I said. And I'm like, well, okay, so to me, when I look at the screen, and again, I just went to the eye doctor. I see a bunch of little smiley faces. I hope I pick one that's not a sarcastic or somehow...
Say if it's too big, it could be sarcastic.
Medium-sized smiley, and that feels right to me. But again, someone else is judging that. The other one is a thumbs up emoji. I have, again, as a blanket statement, if I reply to you with a thumbs up, it means... I've got it, and I have nothing else to add. That's all it means. Because young people are now interpreting a thumbs up to mean a negative because you didn't, it's not more. You could have, I don't know.
I use it all the time to say I got it.
Someone might they think you're saying I don't like this. Apparently, no. And I specified, and also I specified I'm not keeping up with these things. So if you are interpreting, it makes you not want to use them at all. And I also said, and the other thing is, in addition to disclaimers, I not the people on my team, but chastise sort of young people in general. You made us use them in the first place. We didn't create this language, and now because you keep changing it. We're not using it right. Yeah, but I mean, again, this is like slang. Young people do this on purpose. It's not to exclude older people, but it is to have their own thing that is theirs, which they have a right to have. I was 6'7". I don't know if you just know the number 6'7". I was at a giveaway yesterday. There was a raffle, and every time the announcer had a number that had the number 6'7", all the children, I'd forgotten this, but they all start shouting 6'7", and it's the most random thing to older people, but it is literally
No idea what it is.
the number 6'7", when in conjunction with one another, they get very excited. Some fast food restaurants, for instance, if they had a numbering system, actually went to skipping in addition to another number in the 60s, which they skipped just for reasons for older people. Because wait for the order number 67, and then they would all start screaming in the restaurant all at once, and
It doesn't mean anything.
and that's the part for, especially for teachers, or for it's specifically, we've now completely moved to meaningless language older people think it's too frustrate them. Again, it's to have your own thing, and if anyone tries to judge you, take it away from you, say it means something. There was a city council who tried to ban 6'7" just because they didn't want to hear children say it, but you can't. That's exactly why they do.
That's kind of cute. I mean, we all know that 86 means assassinate the president. We know that. I mean, that's that's an incitement to revolution, right?
Think it means. So no, and every I can't remember who we were talking about. Oh, some band or some song. But yeah, all the songs that people, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, what is it about? Or band names who just have initials, and is it a secret drug meaning, or is it secret? Yeah, I think all youth culture has always exploited this. And
any aging rocker who now claims that their lyrics meant this, that, or the other, I take with a huge grain of salt, because I think they wrote whatever the hell they wrote, and they now let the audience tell them a more interesting interpretation.
Some of them some songs have multiple, and they've said in interviews, and what?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's fine.
Yeah, they've contradicted it. No, it's fine, but that's music. That's okay. So, okay, I wanted to ask you about Boy George, right?
Yes.
I mean, it seems rather exhausting. Now he's been kicked off a guest spot on Jesus Christ Superstar.
His agent, he quit. No.
Okay. He quit
because of his principle. I don't know. I don't know how the agent tried.
He was supported Israel, right?
No, he wrote this song, and again, he wrote it with AI slop. And it's a terrible song. It's a terrible, fake, bad.
Oh, this has to do. Oh, I see. This has to do with a song he wrote. Okay.
Specifically around the October 7th tragedy in Israel, which is
Right.
But his song is terrible. It conflates. I mean, yeah, no, it's Islamophobic in that it conflates individuals who committed acts with sort of all groups or community. Yeah, no, it is objectively, and again, music isn't objective. It is subjective, but
a bad song.
It's a bad message. Yeah, he got kicked off of the thing, but his agent is really trying hard to spin it that he quit. His band, he's saying he fired, but again, why did he have to make the song with AI if he has a band who's willing to record this with him in the first place? It seems they quit as well. But he's really he's digging in, which he has the right. I mean, I think he can. I think he made a he knew this would be controversial. I think he was going for an audience, which I don't think he had much of one anyway. So sure, see if that Kid Rock crowd is I don't know. Yeah, I think this was a
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
And I think he'll be fine because I don't think he had much of a career to trash anyway. But um,
Yeah, I forgot. I'd forgotten about him. I mean, in a sense, you know.
again, he was as someone who came up as a gay icon. To see him predictably or I don't know, whatever, like a lot of them older ones going in this route. I mean, Morrissey, specifically in the UK, Johnny Rotten now. I mean, Anarchy in the UK guy is now basically British MAGA. He's, pro national.
Yes, Johnny Rotten.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
What about Morrissey? Is he right wing?
Pro nationalist, pro, kick all the
See.
Brexit. Yeah, something with Brexit in particular seemed to claim a lot of. I don't know what. I don't know how it was being promoted in the country compared to from outside of the country, but yeah, a lot of people who I wouldn't expect suddenly turned right wing around that time. I don't know.
No, I think they were people. They were successful people who had working class roots, and it's the working class roots that probably the folks back home, dad and mom and their uncle, influenced them, and who knows, maybe uh, maybe the entertainment industry in the UK is maybe they felt pushed away, but I don't know. I'm just trying to think of
When you said working class, that really connected because this is not new. This is, I mean, a lot of this in the '70s, and specifically within punk, which came up from the working class. The division between punk and skinhead, or the racist
uh, yeah.
working class, general anti-government, the general dissatisfaction with unemployment shifted to either are we going to blame the government or are we going to blame immigrants and whatnot, and that's where that division happened. But even mainstream artists, David Bowie very famously had a drunken rant on stage. Eric Clapton in the '70s, drunken rant on stage talking about immigrants. And this is not new. This has always been part of British culture. Which is not. So yeah, I mean that's a reminder.
Well, it's an island. It's an island nation, and uh, Thatcher was to blame for a lot of that, you know. And those people lived through uh, Britain being proud that they beat Argentina in a war, or the Falklands, which gave them a lot of false sense of pride, having lost the empire. You know. Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting.
Dispute, which I guess is not over. Like, I mean, or at least, I mean, well, it is over. The Falkland Wars is over, but well, it came up during FIFA when England versus Argentina. But I guess no, now, yeah, no, that's not a history I understand very
The
well.
Falklands now, they're called. I mean, I don't know what they're called, but they are British. But the point is, they're useless. I mean, it's like these islands that Japan and Russia and all these small islands, which are all they're merely symbolic. They're symbol. They're not strategic. Most of them have no strategic value at all. They are symbolic, you know, and they represent. You know, they've got a um, I don't know, they've got a memorial to fallen warriors on them of one side or the other, you know, and it's actually pathetic that they use like this. So okay, so the other thing I wanted to ask you about was Amanda Knox.
She lives here, right? That's a local. She
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know
did a stand up comedy routine that made some national news. Is that why she's?
that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that was at the Rabbit Box. I can rent out the Rabbit Box. It holds 99 people. It is so while it was I was enraged to find out that she sold out 3 nights
Okay.
of 750,000. So down, she's okay, she won't I will never let people forget that while she didn't accuse, speaking of immigrants, a black immigrant of she didn't make the false accusation. She allowed it to
Yes. Yeah.
No, she didn't do it. I don't believe she did it. I don't believe she's a murderer. They're
Oh, but
away, and all she has is I was the roommate of someone who was murdered. And she tried to attach herself to the Innocence Project, which is a real program for real people who are in prison.
yeah, I know what it is. Yeah.
Donate to that I've donated my time in. But when they started working with her, I was skeptical. But also, it's like when the ACLU works with Nazis, because technically their free speech rights are free speech.
Yeah.
Even I don't know what happened with her work with the Innocence Project, but they don't talk about her anymore. I mean, they don't. I mean, they I don't know. Innocence Project has done things I don't 100% agree with. No, for me, why won't she go away? All she will do is she has spent her entire adult life now capitalizing on her notoriety and making no attempt whatsoever to earn a living that doesn't exploit the death of her college roommate. That's who she is. That's all she is. And again, these false accusations that she allowed to happen in her attempt to gain her freedom, which I understand.
I'd forgotten that. Yeah, I remember. I read about it at the time.
What did you hear? Because I don't know what she's.
I was just appalled. There was an article. It was probably in the Times about this performance. It did not touch on what you have mentioned, i.e., the minuscule nature of the and it gave equal weight to pros and cons. It was not, and the reason I wanted to discuss it, it was not largely condemnatory, or I did not read it as that, and I was appalled that it wasn't. In other words, I couldn't imagine how you could report this without being appalled. It wasn't about free speech. It's not about vulgarity. It's not about even race or anything. It's about a woman who's dead, who has relatives, and you are a witting part of the story, right? And you might want to do something that that honors that person's memory, or change your name and have another life. I don't know. I'm sorry, but you did not you got off. I mean, you may have been totally unfairly involved, but you exploited your involvement at the time too. It seems to me you turned it in. You encouraged a circus. That was my take. She encouraged a circus, and now this is all she's got. I mean, this is
right. And let's to make it even darker. Apparently, she now has a child. Her child is pictured in the photograph. Child is whatever. It's pictured in the photograph. Apparently, this performance was around motherhood and now her reflections on, again, I don't know. This is the other. Okay, you're not. First of all, you're not alone. Like people are baffled by why the media treats her like a neutral subject when she's not. Like that.
Okay. Yeah.
That is. But yeah, and again, to me, as someone, her now involving her kids and as weaving that into her defense of, well, I have a child, so I have a right to make a living. Yes, you have a right to make a living, but not off of this, not off of continuing to try and dredge up something that is very painful for the family who is still, but in not a meaningful way, not because you have anything to add to the discourse, but just for your own profit. No, I think she's a disgusting vulture. And let's add one more layer and a personal connection. She is good friends with the parent of a child who was in my class, and I'm being very, very vague on purpose, but they themselves, they're an author, they're good, they're published, and I like them. The stuff they wrote is very transgressive, which is interesting as I'm their toddler teacher, so I'm spending but I've read things that they wrote that are very, very dark, but also that I think is very, very good. None of that's just that's the backstory. They wrote an essay. Well, I'm now saying this is going to be identifying if you know who this person is. They wrote an essay basically saying that as an MFA professor, all their college students' papers are crap. They are sick of it. They can't read anymore. And they published it under their own name with details that were individually identifying to students. They were immediately fired from the university. It became a very public discourse around how the responsibility of a writer as a mentor, the responsibility of a teacher, and it became a very public discourse, at least here in Seattle, probably not nationally, though at times it made some national news too. Anyway, this kind of, I don't know how he ended up involved with Amanda Knox, but somewhere along the way, he became involved in her productions, in her, I don't know. We've lost touch. I changed many diapers of many children. So yeah, but I actually liked him at one point, and now for him to be involved in this is disappointing to me, but also it's interesting to me because he had his own fall from grace, and I'm curious how he perceives them as having something in.
But this interests me. Did he must have known that what the reaction would be if he came clean about how he felt about his students, right? I mean, how could he not? I mean, he's been grading them, he's been passing them, they've been getting jobs or whatever. In other words, and he's basically saying, he's actually criticizing himself too, right?
That's a really interesting take that I don't even know. Yes, he's criticizing himself, and he is speaking on the integrity of the university, of the diplomas that they give out, if that's what the professors think of the quality of the work. No, but that part was what the trust that he broke with the students was really the heart of the debate or the discussions in Seattle or around, that was
because he named people,
details enough that and
they could be identified. Students, but these are students who graduated with good grades.
Students, no, and that what actually came about, and this is a student responded in the school paper to say, I recognize myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what if this was a guy who was teaching medical students, right?
Exactly. Yes. No. And that's. Yeah, no.
And you say like, don't go to a doctor anymore, right? And these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing, right? Huh?
Sound an alarm, but very loudly, teachers at all levels are kind of doing this. Teachers are saying, teachers in elementary and up, English teachers, they're saying children can't read. Teachers are saying, but they're also passing them. I mean, their teachers aren't,
They're teachers.
and teachers can't do everything.
Someone who cannot read, you're doing them a tremendous disservice.
And I'm going to push back. If you are blaming the again, the teachers are the gig economists of the education system. Teachers who have now 150 students, if the class size now have to teach 5 classes a day, they don't know all the things that teachers can only do so much in 50 minutes. The rest of it is
That I think is fair. A teacher to say, I cannot teach anybody to read under these circumstances. So
blaming, well, not necessarily not me, but the younger. They're saying that teachers always blame the teacher before them. They came to me unprepared. How dare they pass them on? But let's not talk too much about how I'm going to pass them on too. Yeah, I mean, this is, and also as someone who's been in education, who is both educated and remembers when I was the student that they were blaming, but also has been now in education for 20 plus years. This has always been the case. Students are always as unprepared as they've ever been. Students have always, the grade, the scores are always the worst they've ever been. And, the system is broken. That is true. Many children do learn to read too. I don't know, not to put it to Band-Aid on or defend it, but it's not perfect. It doesn't work for everyone, and it really, especially those who fall outside of the normal tolerances. Children who are just a little bit behind or a lot behind, or children who are just a little bit ahead or a lot ahead are not served by the system. But many in the middle still continue to do okay. But that doesn't mean it's okay. We should give it more money. We should give them more resources. Teachers should be, all of it. And how do we get here from? Oh no, I wanted to go back to just the how people who have been somehow shunned or had that experience, how they connect with each other, because this also feels like the Kid Rockization of things, of how it seems even that the most recent is his name, Max Miller. Apparently it came from the White House, i.e. Trump directly. We're going to stay behind this guy despite his allegations around abuse. Like, what he really seems to stick with what he perceives as victims, who are men who have done something wrong.
Well, yes, because they are his mirror. He sees them when he looks in the mirror, and he doesn't treat them with understanding and compassion. He treats them as his ally, as the more they do it, the more he does it, the more he's living in a manosphere, right, of white nationalism, vulgarity, misogynism, gun freedom, whatever you want to say. And so you're going to get his vote. This is going to get his vote. Even if that person doesn't win because of their.
No, I know he's willing to trade some of his. Well, I think
if somebody comes to him and says, how can you support Max Miller, blah blah, he say, I've heard people say things, but I don't know. Somebody said something, I don't know. He says, I don't know. I mean, he will deny because he doesn't know anything. He can claim to know nothing. So, but he knows very, very well. And but he is. I do believe he's sinking his ship. I mean,
We've done a good job of not talking about him. Since we're here, can we talk about the USS Abraham Lincoln? I mean, this is where, again, denying. A reporter said to his face, "What about the families of these disgruntled service people?" No one's disgruntled. No, everything's fine, but we're sending another ship there to relieve them after the criticism, which we're saying is undeserved. I mean, it's this weird both and where, as the leader of they have to do something, but he continues to deny. He will just deny while actually taking action, which is, I mean, it's a weird.
We won the war. There's no war. We're still bombing them. We stopped bombing them, right?
But yeah,
Same day. It's the same day, right?
Yeah. I can't remember. He claimed we took control of the Strait of Hormuz, and I don't know why he even says things like that. I mean, it was reported, but no one believed that. No one took it seriously. Iran was just like, no, and then shut it down even further to prove that that was not true. I mean, I say no one believes this, but I think somewhere there is 30% of America who still does, who believes. And that's who he's speaking to, I guess.
Oh, but that's that. If it is 30%, they don't know the difference between Iran, Iraq, Syria, or probably Turkey. So, in other words, their idea of the globe, if indeed most of them don't actually believe the Earth is flat, is kind of gets very, very foggy once you leave the United States. That they really don't know. It's kind of this fog land full of immigrants, probably, who
that's the most
who are not us. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So who cares?
And again, as always, they're the patriots no matter what. Even post January 6th, they still get to wrap themselves in the flag. They're the patriots. But this military, these people have been, there's no food. I mean, it's funny to make fun of Pete Hegseth and his haircut and his little makeup.
Yeah.
He's incompetent. He's a Fox News weekend host. He wasn't even good enough for prime time on Fox, which that's a very low bar to begin with. Janine Pirro.
Very low. Yeah, it's a very low bar.
And now he's running the biggest. I mean, it is the Pentagon. It is the biggest single economic. It is the biggest budget of anything in the world. Nothing.
But he's also denying promotions to. He's denying promotions to people who are not like him, which you mean stupid and muscular. I don't know.
And Trump's trans service people ban. That is not without repercussions only to trans service people. When other service people see someone who has done their career correctly, done everything right.
Yes.
Overnight and had their all that threatened simply because someone doesn't like them randomly one day, that affects other people and how they feel about their careers. But it's not imaginary. They've posted pictures of the food. I mean, it's like, and people said compared it to that fire festival. I mean, they're not feeding service people. This isn't but they
haven't docked anywhere.
Right. No, right. So they're not.
So that it's when you dock that you get fresh food, right? From
they have 2 years worth of food, but that's
it's canned baked beans. I don't know.
I have food in my basement. I don't want to live off of it. I mean, you're right. No. And now they're sending the George Washington, which has been, so now we have no ship in the South China Seas, which is a very contested region. We've depleted all our missiles. I think it was Leon Panetta, Obama's former. Basically saying this is. I'm assuming he's going to end up being arrested for national security because he basically said we have no missiles. This is when someone's going to strike. This is what, you know, where like they're saying that's not true, and now Pete Hegseth is getting called in by Trump. But yeah, we're for a senseless, endless war that no one wanted on the right or the left. We've now
He's used up all his bullets. Yeah, yeah.
And
Well, I've got to feed. All right,
I want to end with
I have to feed the doggies. That's but will you hold that thought? Will you? Can you hold it? I'm sorry. Are you still got something to do today? All right. Yeah.
band is having an album release party. So yeah, I'm going to see.
Oh, great. Okay. All right. Enjoy.